This just in, a local black woman was caught harassing some men at the Esso station on the corner of West Market and Park Street.
The woman has been identified as Rosaline Days, a resident of Sylvan, South Carolina.
She reportedly poured juice from her snuff jug onto the shoes of a few local white men, and has been arrested for assault, theft, and disturbing the peace. Usually African Americans strive for their basic rights as citizens through non-violent manners, such as direct action protests and political organizing, but today we have witnessed a form of physical violence.
Lily Owens, the girl who Rosaline had been looking after for some time, reported the unfairness of the situation and protested Rosaline's arrest.
Lily said that the white men had been taunting Rosaline, and Rosaline was only defending herself.
It's interesting to think about this story, and how, if that is the case, Rosaline was so quickly depicted as the bad guy because of the color of her skin. It seems that the police did not stop to consider what really happened.
They are too quick to judge. This just goes to show the tension between blacks and whites these days.
Stay tuned for an interview with Days and Owens, which will shortly follow.
Here today we have Rosaline Days and Lily Owens, the two ladies involved in the gas station incident that occurred just the other day. I understand your take on the story was not what the police made it seem.
No, I was defending myself.
So you were. Can you tell me what you were defending yourself from?
Well, obviously, the passing of the 14th Amendment gives blacks the title of real citizens, and therefore they have the right to vote. I was going to register to vote, and these three white men were playing cards, and one of them asked me where I was going. I told him exactly what I was going to do, and they all started taunting and teasing me for my color and my weight, and they were calling me horrible names. So I thought I'd pour some of the spit from my snuff jug right onto their shoes to teach them a lesson.
I see. And how did they react?
Not too well. They started swinging at me, so I threw them to the side to keep them off.
So you fought back pretty hard.
Yes, I did. I wasn't about to take that from some whites.
Thank you. Have you participated in any other forms of black-white protest? As you know, at this period of time, the controversy is very alive.
Well, I know about them. I know about the lunch counter sit-ins. The blacks will go sit at the lunch counters where only the whites are supposed to sit. That all started in early 1960, when a few college students sat at a white counter and refused to leave until they were served. That was in North Carolina, and by the end of that year, about 70,000 blacks had participated in a sit-in, with over half of them being arrested.
So you know a lot about black-white tensions.
Obviously, I am a strong advocate for equality and civil rights.
And Miss Lily, what do you think about the arrest of your friend?
I think it's ridiculous that she was so quickly judged for doing something wrong just because she's black. She was only defending herself from those rude white men.
And you support civil rights as well?
Yes, the United States is supposed to ensure basic rights and opportunities for all people living here, and obviously that is not the case.
Racism is a very sensitive subject, and it has existed for quite a long time. The belief that one person is less human than another can cause immense protests and events to occur. These outcries are occurring throughout the United States, but South Carolina seems to have become the epicenter for racial protest. Thank you for joining us today.
Lily Owens, a young white girl from Sylvan, South Carolina, had been through more tragic events than most people have been through their entire lifetimes. She lost her mother at a very young age by accidentally murdering her, was raised by an abusive father, lacked what every other girl her age had, and lived without being loved. Once she escaped her terrible home in Sylvan, Lily started a new life in Tiburon with her friend Rosaline. They were both welcomed by three sisters whom worked on a bee farm where they were expected to work while they stayed. Lily was set to work with the bees and to deliver their products, which were made of honey. After working for about a week, Lily was introduced to a fellow worker, Zach Taylor.
Over the long few weeks of working with the bees, Lily and Zach became significantly closer. Throughout the day, Lily constantly had Zach on her mind, but also the fact that racial boundaries stood in their way. Zach is black, and with the severe racial discrimination of the time, it was viewed as unacceptable for Lily to be in a relationship with him. Zach too had feelings for Lily, but tried not to let them take over. They both managed to keep their feelings to themselves to avoid any unnecessary issues. At one moment, however, their feelings for each other built up, resulting in a kiss. Zach is the only person Lily has ever kissed, outside of her family, and the feeling of being loved is overwhelmingly pleasant. After living with her horrible father her entire life, Zach gives her a reason to keep moving forward through her troubles. Zach's past is unknown, but meeting Lily was an unexpected, wonderful surprise.
The strong, passionate feelings between the two teens soon became silenced by the unbreakable barrier of racial difference. Lily mentioned to Zach that he was 1/3 friend, 1/3 brother, 1/3 bee partner, and 1/3 boyfriend. And he then told her that there can only be 3/3. Lily wanted more than anything to change the color of her skin to make the situation easier, but Zach told her the world should be the one to change.
At this time, Lily still continues her life on the bee farm working with Zach, and the two of them continue their secret love for one another. As time pushes forward, the racial barrier becomes thinner and thinner, making their relationship more accepted. Love is an unconquerable power that eventually comes out on top.
The police have just arrived at August's house to inspect May's suicide. They have made their rounds talking to everyone living at the house, and now Hazelworth sits Lily and Rosaline down to talk with them. Rosaline sits quietly while Lily lies.
So you're an orphan, Lily.
I guess you can say that. My mother died when I was little, and my dad just died in a car accident at the beginning of the summer. And it was his dying wish that I go with my Aunt Bernie in Virginia. She's expecting both me and Rosaline.
And how do you plan on getting there?
Aunt Bernie said she'd send us bus fare, or she'd drive there to pick us up.
And what was your last name again?
Williams.
I'm perplexed by the fact that you're going to visit your aunt, but you are here in this house. What are you doing here?
So in other words, you're asking why such a white girl like myself is staying in a colored house?
Answer the question, Miss Williams.
Well, my aunt had an operation, and Rosaline suggested we stay here with her friends in Tiburon until Aunt Bernie was well again.
And you did not have any other white people back in Spartanburg whom you could stay with?
I didn't have any friends.
And how did you know August?
She is my husband's first cousin. After my husband left me, August and I kept in touch, because she was the only one who related to my feelings of hatred towards my husband.
Lily, I suggest you call your aunt and tell her to get to you as soon as possible. It does not matter if she is all better. These are colored people. Do you understand?
No, I don't, sir.
It is not natural. You should not be lowering yourself. I'm going to stop by this house again soon, and I better not find you here. Do you understand?
Okay.
This encounter mirrors the Jim Crow laws and their call for segregation between blacks and whites.
More and more blacks are beginning to cry out for equal rights in today's society. On the first day of December 1955, Rosa Parks was riding a Montgomery bus and refused to give up her seat to a white man. Since the law required her to move, she did not. She was arrested and jailed.
This sparked the boycott by blacks of all buses in Montgomery. Blacks refused to ride city buses, and this became known as the Montgomery Bus Boycott. This boycott was headed by Martin Luther King Jr. It was very successful and ultimately led to the integration of blacks and whites on all city buses.
Martin Luther King was also successful in organizing the largest protests in the nation's capital, the March on Washington. This included 250,000 protesters and received more television publicity than any of the previous protests.
The public outcry for true equality between blacks and whites had incredibly strong advocates behind it, such as King and Parks. And the advocates and the protests themselves prove what a powerful subject civil rights is.
And how do you plan on getting there?
Aunt Bernie said she'd send us bus fare. She'd come here and pick us up.
I can't do it. And talk really, really loudly.
Okay. The police are just...